first full-length recording was 1955. Is that correct?
Was what?
Was it 1955?
Yeah, it was Songs of Israel.
Songs of Israel.
Yeah,
And
it was a 10-inch record, not a 12-inch.
And was that the one with the young woman on the cover?
That was the 12-inch record. The 10-inch was very. I don't even recall what was on the cover, but it certainly wasn't a picture. Then when they enlarged it to a 12-inch record, they decided it needed to have a pioneering chalutz type feeling of a young woman from the kibbutz who walks the field. Tell you the truth, they hired a model on Long Island and had her walk through a field. I don't know if she ever met a Jew or knew where Israel was, but it looked very Israeli.
And that actually became a mini tradition for some of your album covers.
Yeah.
The 1958 with the Jewish folk songs.
Yeah.
Very famous album cover. Would you mind telling the story of that album cover?
The Yiddish songs?
Yes, but shot on the Lower East Side.
Next to
a young boy.
A poster that had, it's like a theater poster that had the titles of the songs in Yiddish. And so we figured out we needed I needed to tell it to a youth. So where'd you tell a youth? Where'd you take a youth? First of all, you can't take a Hasidic youth. They won't allow their picture to be taken. Well, we saw a little boy walking the street, gave him a couple of dollars, and I said to him in Yiddish, "Come her, Jüngerle, come here, little boy." And he said, "¿Qué quiere?" What do you want in Spanish? Okay. He was a Puerto Rican kid. On the picture, who knows, Puerto Rican. He looked Jewish with a beret. You want me to tell the crayon story? You're going to put this on the air? Well, we were against a brick wall. And I said to myself, how can there be a brick wall without graffiti? And so next to the poster, I wrote with a crayon 3 letters, Hebrew letters, Pei, Aleph, Kuf, which if you know how to pronounce Yiddish, it spells fuck. Because, that was your graffiti. Now, if you look at that cover, even today, it has, very faintly, but it has those 3 letters on it.
And who was buying these records? Because these sold pretty well.
Pretty well, and not only to Jews. Obviously, heavily to Jews, but also to other people. They were interested in me. You see, at the time, I was also making a career in television and films and the theater, so my name became known in my other endeavors. Some people didn't believe that was the same person. I mean, somebody came up to me and said, there's a singer by the same name as yours, only he pronounces it differently. I said, people like that. But I became known in various circles of people who were interested in the arts. And those are the people who bought records.
And in terms of your role within the kind of the artist family, the label itself, what was it like being part of Elektra in those early days? What was the climate of the offices, the other artists?
Elektra was a very small family and a very closely knit family too. Jack was always the brains behind the operation, but Jack also had, and people often fail to give him credit for that. He was not only a promoter, he really had, and still does have, a feel for the material. He loved folk music. In fact, he left college, or I think he was thrown out of college, because all he cared about was electronics and folk music. And the college needed him to be interested in other things as well, I guess. And he, you know, his artists knew that his passion would support them. And indeed, some of the artists that he took didn't, on the face of it, it didn't seem that they would be commercial successes at all, but they were good, and he knew they were.